Have you ever spent good money on the best feed the store had, carried it out to the barn, tipped it into the bucket, and watched your horse take one sniff, turn their head away, and walk to the back of the stall? It makes your stomach drop, doesn't it? You stand there holding a bucket of feed your horse will not touch, and last week they cleaned it up just fine. You look at them and think, my horse is just being fussy today. But what if I told you that a horse turning away from their feed is almost never just fussiness? What if I told you that in a horse, unlike almost any other animal, walking away from food is one of the single most important warning signs there is, and knowing what to do in the next few hours can save their life? If you saw the title of this video, you saw the promise. Today, I am going to give you the exact step-by-step vet roadmap for the horse that has gone off their feed. Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Wade Coleman, your country equine veterinarian, and welcome back to the channel. As a vet, I hear it every single day. Dr. Wade, my horse is just being picky. And sometimes, that is all it is. But today we are going to expose why that assumption is so dangerous in a horse, and how to tell the difference between a horse who is being fussy and a horse who is in real trouble. Today we are doing a complete masterclass on the horse that will not eat. I am going to explain exactly why a horse goes off their feed. I am going to give you a massive, life-saving warning about why you can never simply wait out a horse who has stopped eating. And then I am going to walk you through every practical fix, from the mouth to the gut to the bucket itself. So grab a notebook, hit that subscribe button to join our family of educated horse owners, and let's start with the most important thing in this entire video, the thing I need you to understand before anything else. A horse is built to eat almost constantly. Out on grass, a healthy horse grazes for 16, 17, even 18 hours a day. Their whole body, from their teeth to their stomach to their long gut, is designed around a steady, non-stop trickle of food moving through it, every hour of every day. Eating is not a luxury for a horse. It is the engine that keeps the entire system running. This is completely different from a dog or a person. You can skip a meal and be fine. A dog can skip a day and be fine. A horse cannot. When a horse stops eating, that constant flow through the gut slows down and can stop. And a gut that stops moving in a horse is a genuine emergency. On top of that, a horse's stomach produces acid all the time, around the clock, whether there is food in there or not. That acid is meant to be buffered by a constant stream of chewed forage and saliva. When the horse stops eating, the acid keeps coming with nothing to soak it up, and painful ulcers can form fast. So here is the rule I need burned into your memory before we go one step further. A horse that has completely stopped eating and drinking is an emergency, right now, not tomorrow morning. If your horse has not touched any food at all, and especially if they are also not drinking, not passing manure, lying down and getting up, pawing, turning to look at their belly, or curling their lip, you do not watch and wait. You call your vet immediately. That combination very often means colic, and with colic, hours matter enormously. I would far rather come out and tell you it was nothing than have you wait a night and lose your horse. Please do not ever feel silly for calling. Now, with that said, not every horse that turns down a bucket is colicking this second. Many are giving you an early, quieter warning that something is wrong, and if you read it correctly, you can catch a problem while it is still small and cheap to fix. So let's walk through why a horse goes off their feed, starting with the most common cause of all. Let's start with the mouth. If there is one thing owners overlook more than anything else, it is the teeth. A horse's teeth are not like ours. They keep growing up out of the jaw for most of the horse's life, and they are worn down by chewing. The problem is, they very often do not wear down evenly. Sharp points and hooks form along the outside of the top teeth and the inside of the bottom teeth, and those points cut into the cheek and the tongue. Now put yourself in that horse's place. Every single bite hurts. So what does the horse do? They approach the feed hungry, they take a mouthful, and the pain makes them stop. They drop half-chewed food out of their mouth. They tilt their head to one side, trying to chew where it hurts less, and they walk away from a bucket they actually want to eat. Owners see that and say the horse is picky. That horse is not picky. That horse is in pain. Here is how you tell. Watch them eat. A horse with a mouth problem drops little wads of half-chewed hay on the ground, which we call quitting. They chew slowly, or on one side. They may fling their head, or you might see whole grain passing straight through into their manure, undigested. And there may be a bad smell from the mouth, or a bit of blood-tinged saliva. If you see any of that, the fix is not a new bag of feed. The fix is a phone call to your vet for a proper dental exam and float, done with the horse sedated and a full speculum, so they can reach the very back teeth where the trouble lives. Get that mouth sorted, and very often the picky eating vanishes overnight. Now, what if the mouth is fine and the horse still will not eat? Let's move to the stomach because this is a huge one. Stomach ulcers in horses are far more common than most owners realize. Remember what I said about that acid being produced around the clock? In a horse that is stalled a lot, worked hard, hauled often, or fed big grain meals with long empty gaps in between, that acid eats away at the stomach lining and causes ulcers. And a horse with ulcers develops a very particular pattern around food. They are keen at first, they take a few bites, and then they back off, as if eating suddenly became unpleasant. Because it did. They may be girthy and grumpy when you tack up, a little dull in themselves, and slowly losing condition. If that sounds like your horse, this is a conversation with your vet, who can scope the stomach to see what is actually going on and prescribe the real treatment. But there is a great deal you can do at the bucket to help, and it overlaps with everything else in this video, so hold that thought. Now let's talk about the gut further down, and about something owners cause by accident all the time with the best intentions. Sudden change. A horse's hindgut is run by billions of tiny microbes that break down fiber, and those microbes are extremely sensitive. They get used to one hay, one feed, one routine. When you suddenly switch to a new bag of feed, open a new load of hay that came off a different field, or double up the grain because your horse looks a bit ribby, those microbes cannot cope with the sudden change. The gut becomes upset and uncomfortable, and a horse with an uncomfortable gut goes off their feed. This is why the golden rule of horse feeding is slow. Any change to feed or hay should be made gradually, over a week to 10 days, mixing the new in with the old a little more each day. If your horse has just gone off feed and you changed something in the last few days, there is your likely answer. Go back to what they were on if you can, and make the change again, but this time, slowly. We are covering a lot, so let's take a breath and talk about the simplest causes, the ones that are easy to fix once you spot them. First, plain bad or spoiled feed. Horses have a far better sense of smell than we do, and they are right to be suspicious. Put your own hands and nose into that bucket and that hay. Does the grain smell sour, musty, or off? Is there any dust, mold, or a fusty smell in the hay? Damp feed goes rancid quickly in warm weather, and moldy hay can make a horse genuinely sick. Sometimes the horse is not being fussy at all. The horse is simply refusing food that has gone bad, and their instinct is protecting them. Check the date on the bag, check how it has been stored, and when in doubt, throw it out. It is far cheaper than a vet call. Second, dirty buckets and water. A horse can be put off eating by a feed bucket that is crusted with old, soured feed, or by water that has gone green and slimy in the trough. Scrub the feed bucket out regularly, and keep clean, fresh water in front of them at all times. And here is a link people miss. A horse that is not drinking enough will often stop eating too, because they cannot move dry feed through a dry gut comfortably. Clean water and dry feed problems go hand in hand. Third, stress and environment. Horses are creatures of habit and herd animals. A horse can go off their feed simply because their fieldmate was taken away, because they have been moved to a new yard, because there is a loud, busy, stressful barn around them, or because a pushy horse next door is making them anxious at feeding time. A nervous horse eaten up with worry will not settle to their bucket. Sometimes the fix is as simple as feeding them somewhere quieter, giving them a companion they can see, or letting them settle before you expect them to eat. And fourth, feed that simply does not suit them. Many horses do not like, and do not need, a big scoop of hard, sugary grain. If your horse picks at their grain, but attacks their hay, that is your horse telling you something useful. Forage should always be the foundation. Many horses do far better on plenty of good hay, a handful of a simple balancer for their vitamins and minerals, and little or no grain at all. So now let's put it all together into a practical plan for the horse who is eating, but poorly, or who has just come back on after a scare and you want to tempt them. Because getting a horse to eat well is often about working with their nature instead of against it. The single most powerful thing you can do is lead with forage, always. A horse is designed to eat fiber first and most. Offer really good quality hay and offer it constantly, ideally in a slow feed net so it lasts and trickles through them the way nature intended. A horse with good hay in front of them at all times is a calmer, healthier horse with a settled stomach, and a settled stomach wants to eat. Next, make the feed soft and easy. If your horse is older, has any dental issue, or is just a reluctant eater, turn their feed into a warm, soft mash. Add soaked beet pulp and enough warm water to make it soupy. A warm, soft, easy-to-chew mash is gentle on a sore mouth, kind to a touchy stomach, sneaks extra water into them, and smells wonderful to a horse. Many a picky horse cleans up a warm mash when they would not touch dry feed. Then, tempt the smell and the taste, gently. Horses eat with their nose first, so warm the mash slightly to bring the smell up. You can stir in something most horses find hard to resist, such as a handful of soaked, unmolassed sugar beet, a little applesauce, a grated carrot or apple, or a small amount of soaked grass pellets. Go easy on very sugary treats, and if your horse has any history of laminitis, ask your vet what is safe before you sweeten anything. The goal is a small nudge, not a bucket of sugar. And whatever you do, keep it consistent and low stress. Feed at the same times, in the same quiet spot, in a clean bucket, and give them space to eat without a pushy neighbor or a busy aisle right on top of them. Do not stand over an anxious horse willing them to eat. Put it down, step back, and let them settle to it. Now I need to bring us back around to the most important point, because it holds this whole video together. Everything I have just given you, the mash, the forage, the tempting, all of that is for the horse who is eating a bit, but off their game, or the horse you are nursing back after a known, minor cause. None of it is for the horse who has genuinely stopped eating. So let me be absolutely clear one more time, because this is the part that saves horses. If your horse suddenly will not eat anything at all, do not spend 2 days trying different buckets of feed. Do not wait it out. Look at the whole horse. Are they drinking? Are they passing normal manure? Are they bright and interested? Or dull? Or looking at their sides, pawing, sweating, or lying down and getting up over and over? Do they have a temperature? A horse that is completely off their feed, and especially one who is also quiet, not drinking, not passing manure, or showing any sign of pain, needs your vet on the phone now, today, this hour. Going off feed is very often the very first sign of colic, of a serious dental problem, of ulcers, or of an illness brewing, and in a horse, early is everything. Take a step back and look at what we have really done here. We started with a horse turning away from a bucket and an owner ready to blame a fussy attitude. But now you know the truth. You know that a horse is built to eat around the clock, and that going off feed is a message, not a mood. You know to check the mouth for sharp teeth, to think about ulcers in the stomach, to make every feed change slowly, to smell the feed and scrub the bucket, and to lower the stress around eating. You know how to tempt a reluctant horse with a warm, soft, forage-first mash. And most of all, you know the one rule that matters more than all the rest. that a horse who has truly stopped eating is an emergency, and your vet is the answer, not another bag of feed. The fact that you sat here and learned how your horse's body actually works around food says everything about the kind of owner you are. Start with one thing tomorrow. Watch your horse eat. Really watch, and see what they are trying to tell you. They cannot say the words, but they are telling you all the same. Has your horse ever suddenly gone off their feed? And what turned out to be the cause? Let me know in the comments below. I read every one I can, and your story might be the one that helps another owner act in time. And if this masterclass gave you a clearer, calmer plan today, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps me keep making these free videos for horse owners all over the world. I am Dr. Wade Coleman. Give your good horse a scratch on the neck for me tonight. Stay safe, trust your gut, and I will see you all in the very next video.